Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Discover a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey y'all, I'm JJ.
Hey guys, it's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests to share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like, it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of Don't Blame Me. My name is Meghan.
And my name's Melissa.
Welcome to one of our many podcasts. This podcast is how we start the week.
We do.
Happy Monday.
Monday fun day.
Are you having a fun day Monday? Is it Hyundai? Because that's how, or is it Hyundai?
I don't know if it's Hyundai, or Hyundai. I've heard Hyundai too.
When I say every way I say it, I feel like I sound like Schmidt from New Girl. Like, because none of them sound right to me. Yeah. They all just sound like something Schmidt would say, which is a good thing and a bad thing, you know?
Mm-hmm. It reminds me, Cammie got a Porsche this week.
Oh,
She was saying Porsche and people are like, it's Porsche. And she's like, I'm going to say it however I want to say it because I can afford it.
It was just so, like, just the way she delivered it. I was like, and I can't dispute that with you.
Mm-hmm.
I can't argue with your dollars.
Exactly.
And also, I have to say, we should just call it Porsche. Like, it doesn't. Everyone refers to it as a Porsche, except for the people like, no, it's a Porsche. And it's like, why don't we just, first of all, Porsche sounds, I think, cooler. I do not like when there's things, I do not like cars usually, and things that like men typically fan over with like names that are women names. I don't like, it's like when people like name their ship, like, this is
the lady.
Yeah.
Come in.
Yeah. And it's just like, don't talk about her like that.
Yeah.
And when they talk about like, oh, look at my Porsche is so sexy. I'm like, don't talk about her like that.
I talk about my car like that though.
No, but you're allowed because I have different expectations. That's fine. It's very fine.
Yeah, I have opinions on a lot of things with pronunciations based on where you live, where the company was founded, say Nike, but you go over to the UK and they're like Nike. It's like, no, that's not how you say it. But
yeah,
if that's how they want to say it over there, they can keep it over there.
And I think that there's certain things that, like, when I hear a name in a British accent, I'm like, you know what? We should be able to name people in America without British accents, but I would like the British pronunciation.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, there's one guy on Love Island who was eliminated. His name's Montel, but it's Montel. And I go, I would like to, in America, it's just so to the ears when they're calling him, it is.
I thought you were going to give me a Jeffrey Joffrey type thing.
That I actually hard pass on Joffrey. Like, no. But Montel. And it's also specifically, there's a couple people in there who have like different British accents. No. There's the one that It was Leah, the girl he was coupled up with. I go, it needs to be the universal pronunciation of it. I don't know what it is. It's some 80. It's just, it tickles my brain in the best way possible. Oh, it's chef's kiss. I fucking love it. And there was also someone named Tells, but they would go Tells, like Tells. And I'm like, I love it.
Was it short for something?
Well, you would say in America Tells, but it's like Terry. It was a nickname of Terry.
Okay.
Tells. But like Tells.
Like tears?
Mm-mm. Tells.
How do you spell it? T-A-L-E?
T-E-L-L-S.
T-E-L-L. Okay.
And then, but you think like now if you said like, oh, that's Tells, you're like, what? But Tells?
Both of them. I'm still like, what?
There's something about it. I guess we should explain what the show is.
Sure.
This is a show where we give wonderful, amazing, life-changing advice. And you might be wondering, how are you, people who are so entertaining, so gorgeous, so hot, also so good at giving advice? And to that I say, people can do hard things. Not everybody, but we can.
I love doing hard things.
Okay, don't make it sexual, because I say it to my nephew all the time when like something's difficult. I'm like, we can do hard things. And he said it back to me once, and I was like, I'm going to cry. Like, this is so kind. But sometimes you can't do hard things. But here, we're doing the hard things. Not the soft things.
Keep going, Megan.
See, now I made it.
Uh-huh.
We're going to give you advice. You're going to call in. We will answer those voicemails. If you want to call in for an upcoming episode, you can leave us voicemail 310-694-0976. International listeners, you can send us an audio message at meganpodcast@gmail.com. We discussed in the last episode some ideas we had for the future of the show, and I made an ominous post on Instagram.
Someone said they thought we were breaking up.
Well, that was my goal. I was trying to clickbait them.
Okay, cool. Some
cool.
people are in favor of themed episodes.
Love it.
To the people that tagged people that they want on the show, don't do that.
That's really embarrassing for us, because
it's not just embarrassing, but I don't think it's embarrassing. What I think is it might be embarrassing for them if we don't ask them to be on the show.
It goes one of two ways. Either we want them to be on the show and they like just ignore it, and then it goes, wow, they're not even cool, they can't even get these people to respond. Or those people do respond and we're like, oh, they're waiting for our email and it's not coming.
Yeah. So don't tag people. Just DM it.
Don't. But
I mean, I saw some people tag Lily, and
as of today, I like all the people have tagged.
Okay.
But that is, in past times, that has not been the case. Like, as of now, as the day we're recording this, everyone who people have tagged, I'm like, valid, fair,
but
good call. But let's just not.
Let's cool it
for future. You can DM it to us, or you can just write their names.
A lot of people are in favor of doing gossip. Somebody suggested wedding drama, which I think it's good.
I think it's good too, because I was even thinking about specific themed episodes. If we can get somewhat more niche, like bachelorette parties, birthdays, those things, it sparks a memory where it's like, oh, I do have something about that. Like I always say, like, put me in a box and then I can be more creative there. But
somebody said Eminem JBU crossover. They've both already been on the show,
we don't know them.
But
who?
I don't know. Not people that I talk on their podcast too. Relationship crossover. We've had Cammy on before, so of course, and we talk about her. Yeah, it's not how to spell her name, but we do talk about her pretty much every episode anyway. Would honestly like more calls. We can't get more calls if there aren't people calling in.
Yeah, but I think doing specific themed episodes and broadening the range of, it doesn't have to be a current dilemma, I think will give more call, because right now it's like they're actively going through something in the moment, and then they think about calling in to the podcast. And there's some stuff that if I wasn't the host of the podcast, I would call into the podcast and be like, here's what's going on in my life, what should I do?
Why don't you call and then use a fake name, and then you have to give yourself advice, because then you have to think about what you're doing.
We both know, but because we've talked about this on and off mic, that I know the advice I would give myself, but I'm just choosing to pretend I don't know her. And I'm like, what do you mean the advice who am I? Me? Who? No, I don't know. I'm just avoiding everything. It's a really, like, it's worked. Here's the issue.
You're not avoiding. You're not. There's some things that you have actively said, no, leave me alone.
But there's still even aspects of that I've just ignored.
Yeah, but you also told them.
No. Yeah.
Don't talk to me.
Yeah. I needed some space. But It just one of those things that's very unfortunate when you're someone who just is like, I'm going to ignore my problem. I'm just going to like pretend those don't exist. Then it only works for so long. I was Googling the other day, which I felt so silly and so stupid until it automatically filled in and I was like, oh, cool. I'm not the only person who Googled it. I was like, how to feel your feelings. And here I am reading psychology blogs of like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? What do you mean?
You're asking the wrong person.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to embark on that journey eventually. Anyways.
Watch us on Patreon. Because today we're matching unintentionally. Are your shorts from Abercrombie?
Yeah, of course they are.
Mine are too, but mine are Hoochie Mama shorts.
Well, that's because when you wear a Hoochie Mama short,
that ass jiggles out the bottom.
Well, it doesn't then give you essentially visual access to your hole. Because for me, my ass is so when you give a little bit of the gaping there, then suddenly there's a legitimate breeze, and I am my asshole is exposed. Like there's not stuff to fill.
We're gonna send this clip to Abercrombie so that they can sponsor us.
Yeah, 2 different body types.
2 different. You have on longer shorts than I do, but they're both Abercrombie, and I like mine. I don't really wear these out. I have to gauge where I'm going to wear them because the attention that
yeah. Did you wear those in Dominican Republic?
I took them. I don't think I wore them.
Yeah, because as soon as you got there, you were like, they can't handle the shorts here.
Yeah, I don't think I wore them.
Because I would wear them on like a tropical hot fun summer vacation
if I was
with
going
like a bikini.
Yes, I was gonna say if I was going to bikini, I didn't really go to the beach that much.
Well, you had plans. You were
I had stuff to do. I took a picture on the beach, but I
saw that.
And the wedding was on the beach. But other than those 2 things, I was not at the beach.
That's so funny. A beach vacation, but not so much beaching. I want to go on a beach.
We live near beaches.
Yeah.
That's why it wasn't that exciting for me. Because I'm like, I can go to the beach any day.
Well, that's how I feel about like, I was going to apologize to Florida, but I have no need. Florida beaches.
I have a whole, that's my.
Oh my God.
That's my, but am I wrong?
Amazing. Cool. Well, I will keep it to myself until later this week.
Yep.
So that being said, make sure you are subscribed to this podcast feed because this is not the only podcast you get a week. We have lots of other ones. And we're wonderful, funny, and hilarious. So,
and thank you for everyone that called in this week.
We appreciate it. And we're also going to continue exploring of like how we're going to like restructure and format the show. So your opportunity to like suggest something or like say anything, like it's not gone to like continue. You can comment, but you can also still slide into our DMs,
Yep. And also, if there's any like topic that you want an expert on for, let us know too.
Any experts we would have on, I want to say this in like I'm going to say I'm saying in the least shady way possible, but it's actually the most shady way possible. We're not going to have on the experts who have like done the podcast rounds. Like we're just not interested in that. And as someone who like consumes a lot of podcasts, I'm not interested in being. We're not a press outlet. Like we're not here for like someone to promote their like just kind of go on and regurgitate the same like responses and talking points that they do on every single podcast. We would have experts on things we're interested in, like we're not gonna have like an expert on like,
but they've also got to be cool.
Yeah, they can't be uncool.
They can't be. We want them to be cool, not uncool. If you're a Housewives of New York fan, you'd get it.
The phone number, if you want to call, is 310-694-0976. International listeners, you can send us an audio message at meganpodcast@gmail.com. Both have the same requirements. It is 3 minutes or less. And we do want you to write everything down before you record. So give us your age, give us other people's ages because you have to be age and parent permission. Write everything down so we can only give you the best advice based on the information you give us. So give us all of the relevant and important details that would affect the advice that we give. And let us know if you're sensitive.
I'm sensitive. Anyway, let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll get into the calls.
Yippee. We're back from our break, and we're going to get into the calls.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. First-time caller, long-time listener. I'm calling in about a new romance that's been budding for the past couple of weeks. I'm about to turn 30 this week, and he's turning 29 later this year. I've been out of the relationship game for about 6 years after my last ex. We're both gay. He's using he, him pronouns, and we live about 20 minutes away from each other. We've been talking for about 3 weeks now, and we've been on about 8 dates. We are texting daily and meeting up about twice a week for dinner and like a hangout on the weekends. I've been kind of gooning, simping, gushing, and just like super mushy about this whole thing. And I'm just super excited to talk to him and see him regularly. Based on everything so far, he's been showing me that the feeling is mutual. We had a sleepover after a date this weekend, and the morning after did get a little bit awkward. Nothing happened more than cuddling, and it was a fun make-out session or two, but he seemed a little distant that morning, and I started to get into my head about it. We did end up talking about it later that day, and he assured me he was in his head too, and he needs to get used to having someone stay the night again, because it's been a while for him too. He assured me that he did have a great time, he just needed time to process everything. We do have another date planned later this week and continue to keep adding more dates and talking about planning trips in the future and what the future could possibly look like. So I sent a TikTok about how he deserves a quote-unquote good boyfriend award, and he responded with, oof, not the B word yet, but we're getting close. So we've talked about exclusivity and that we're not actively dating or talking to anybody else in a romantic way. So I feel like that kind of implies the title. Am I being a little bit Lulu here? I guess the advice that I'm looking for is a few things. What is a realistic timeline to have a title of a boyfriend? Do either of you or the listeners have any ways to help with an insecure or anxious attachment style and how to feel a little bit more secure with the beginning stages of a relationship? After the awkward morning, I started to second guess everything, including myself. Does any of this sound like love bombing, or is it just my insecurities getting the best of me? Since I do have a little bit of time left, I am a Cancer Sun, Leo Moon, and Aquarius Rising. So even though I can be a mushball of emotions, I feel like I could handle the heat. He's a Sagittarius, still waiting to get the rest of his chart. Could that be a red flag for commitment issues? Thank you so much. I love the podcast, and I can't wait to hear your guys' advice.
I'm telling you, caller, watch the Patreon with caution, just based on my facial reactions reacting to the call. As soon as the boyfriend TikTok, I said oof before they said oof.
Gotcha.
Like I immediately went, and it was like, and then he went, and I was like, yeah. I think this is like normal. No matter how much you've dated, like you've already addressed, like you have more of like an anxious attachment style. And so there's more of like that kind of giddy, I love the word you use, gooning, like just this.
See, whenever I hear gooning, I'm thinking more of
like goober,
rough around the way. Like when, like the singer Monica, when she is ready to fight, which she is a lot, they call her Goonica.
That also sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, if we were British, I feel like the word you would be using is buzzing. Like there's just this like you're so excited, and and it, to me, I don't know that the guy that you're seeing, if he has an avoidant attachment style or he's just not more anxiously attached. I, for the longest time, didn't even know about Shampoo Jam. She taught about attachment styles told me about them on the podcast and was like, look this up later. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, Shan, you read me like you got your fucking book. Like that was amazing. And that's when I discovered that like prior to like Mott's and I getting together, but the beginning of us getting together too, like now we've been together for a while, my entire life, my attachment style has been avoidant. So I would have been the guy that you're seeing, like it, like someone sleeping over, like that would have made me feel, and it's not a rational thought. Like it's me, I would be like, this is a me problem. Like everything's fine. And I'd be like kind of talking myself down, but that can be a hard pairing if you're an anxious attachment style. Cause like the only reason why Mott's and I worked from like, we could work through that. Cause I was like, I pretended to be out of town when I wasn't out of town. And he was like, you're not out of town. And I was like, what? Like, no, I totally am. Like, it's because
he's like, I can see your calendar.
Yeah. He's like a very secure attachment style and knew me well and knew that it was like not personal. But I think like 8 weeks is really quick.
I have to remember like age differences now because there's a difference. If I hear 8 weeks and we're seeing each other twice a week and we're texting,
that's true, and you're in your 30s.
Yeah, like we're texting every day and we see each other twice a week.
2 months.
That is, we go together. Like when I heard you talking, I was like, yeah, y'all are together.
Yeah.
If I'm seeing somebody 2 times a week, that is a commitment.
No, that's true. And when you put it in months,
yes,
I have a hard time with numbers. 8 weeks does not sound nearly as long as 2 months. But if you're we see each other like multiple times, multiple times a week for the last like 2 months, I would be like, yeah, boyfriend.
Yes,
you're right.
And so I don't think anything that you're doing is out of the ordinary. I do think like, you know, when you first use that term boyfriend and girlfriend, that is, or boyfriend and boyfriend, whatever terms you partner, whatever terms you use, that it is something that maybe should be talked about first.
Yeah.
There should be a conversation, not just a send a TikTok.
Because my question is, even the user, like, well, I thought like it would have been implied with so much love. Was there a little part of you who sent that TikTok to just be like, I just want to like double confirm that this is a boyfriend? Do you know what I mean? Like, because that is, it's a wink, wink, nudge, nudge kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And it's okay if it is.
I think y'all are there. There just needs to be a conversation that needs to be had. I do think it's weird that he responded in that type of way, but I don't know if he responded in a way of like cute, oh, we're not there yet, or if it's like, no, we're not there yet, because it can be said in a cute way.
I just think that like it sounds like he has an avoidant, he's leaning towards a more avoidant attachment style, and that is something that like it can be a lot, like inevitable, like true, like you cannot end up in a relationship with an avoidant attachment style. You can end up in it's of all of them, it's the one that it's like you can't be in a relationship if you have that, because you just run away, you escape, you're like, I can't do that. So yeah, I think you need to have a conversation there, because it's not about if he's in the thick of that and he doesn't have any desire to like get with, like pursue a relationship, you will end up disappointed because it has nothing to do with you and like not your behavior. Like you can't like anxious him away if he's an avoidant. Like it's just he's avoidant.
Yeah. And I do think the morning after the first time you spend together, it is awkward. It's just going to be awkward because one of y'all were up before the other one and you don't know like, do I get up?
Yeah.
Do I leave? You don't know if like, are we having breakfast today? Are we not? Are we going to hang out the rest of the day? Like there's this awkward song and dance 2-step that goes with that. So it's just going to be awkward no matter what. Even if y'all had already locked it down, if you didn't talk about like what tomorrow's plans were going to be, it's going to be awkward.
Yeah. And I think that like, I'm someone who like, I bring so much like awkward to situations, and I hate being awkward, and I like hate awkwardness, but like I bring it there with me, and it's it's not avoidable. Like it is just any new relationship, friendship, like anything, like there will be kind of like, okay, I gotta get through that. But eventually when you end up with someone and you've been with them for a long time, you no longer have that. And you look back on it and it's not necessarily even awkward. It's just kind of new. Like you've got the training wheels on, and it's not an indicator of, oh, this isn't going to work. Like there's a difference between like feeling like comfortable with somebody.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
And, you know, being in their home for the first time, spending the night and acting like you live there.
Mhm.
Like, that's far fucking weirder to me.
Yeah.
So I think this could be like really good, but I would just, this sounds really bad. I wouldn't make this about your issues. I would make it about like, let's talk about that. Cause like, I don't think you're being
unreasonable.
No, not at all. And I take back what I said before because I just didn't do the math and understand that 8 weeks is 2 months. So yeah, I think that like the topic at hand is the fact that like he's more avoidant with this. And if you don't have patience for that, like that's also very, very okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
But I think it'll be okay.
I think
as
so
long
too.
As you have a conversation.
But yeah, I don't think anything in general. I'm also a very literal person. So like implied things I can like miss in things. Like I need specific instructions, directions. So I think, especially in relationships when it's new, thinking that one thing would then be as a catch-all of like, oh, this means something else here. That's also awkward, but like you that happens once and then you learn that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be cute. And you sound really happy.
Yeah.
I like that. I can hear
Give
it in
us
your
an
voice.
update in a month.
4 weeks?
4 weeks.
I'm getting better.
Oh gosh.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. My situation right now is, so I have a cousin who I'm really close with, and he has a wife. Let's just call them Troy and Isabella. So they've been together since high school, and they got married 3 years ago. And unfortunately, like literally like 2 weeks ago, they got into a divorce. And I don't know what caused it. I don't want to know because, again, that's for them to know. And literally all friends and family are giving them the space that they requested from everyone, respecting that. So I haven't been able to get into contact with any of them, unfortunately. But they said that they will text me because I'm actually really close with my cousin and his wife, Isabella. So I would just like hang out with them all the time and be the third wheel, didn't mind it. It was fun. But now with this divorce, it's like I've never been in a situation where two of my friends that dated and are now separated. So I just want to know like what's something like what to do, what not to do, like any kind of stuff to be cautious about. Because again, I've never been in this situation where two of my friends are that dated and then no longer together, especially since they were married. So yeah, any kind of advice would be great. Thanks. Bye.
I think you probably want to keep the peace with your family more.
Mm-hmm.
And so waiting to things kind of die out and then asking your blood related cousin what they're comfortable with how you proceed. And then after you do that and get whatever the story is,
Mm-hmm.
and then if they're comfortable with you reaching out, then do it. If they're not, I would ask them, be like, if I keep our relationships completely separate, can I still like talk to them? And if they're like, I don't feel comfortable with that, then unfortunately, I think you got to just let it.
Yeah. I had friends for like ever, like growing up, who were siblings of the same age. I'm trying to make
Twins?
this be no, I didn't say that. I'm trying to be like less obvious, specific in case.
Then you don't even give their age.
No, but it's in my mind, it's important.
Then just say they're twins.
And one of them dated like another girl that I've known literally her for fucking ever. And the siblings and her, like they got along really well. And when they broke up, it was like fraught. It came from her end, like she was one who instigated it, and it would have crushed the sibling that, you know, that their ex was going to remain really close friends, like best friends with the other sibling. And they just did it behind their back. And it was years. Like when I tell you that like they would pretend to like just ignore each other in like the hallways at school. And like I would have to remember that like this is the lore we're keeping up with. And after like a bunch of years, it finally was like, oh, I know you're still friends. Like it's fine. Like I don't care. And it was kind of the thing that like in their mind, like the hiding of it, I think was a little bit of like, you know, they're not going to like flaunt like they're taking care and knowing that it's coming from a place. Like it's not also there's no one was sexually interested in the other one. Wrong genitalia for that. And to me, like, I think the fact that like they lied about it probably worked in their favor because they were very heartbroken about it, but they were also a lot younger. So to me, I agree where it's like, you know, if you have a conversation, like you can say like, it's really important for me to like maintain a friendship and like, I'm no way would ever do anything like disrespectful like to you. And I've also like let her know that like conversations about you are off limits. Like we have our own separate relationship and friendship, and I don't want to talk about her with you. I don't want to talk about you with her. And like that's a boundary I'm creating. And I hope that like you can trust me to uphold that. And like I don't want to be in the middle of that. So like if something turns that way, like yeah, I'm not going to be friends with her if it continues on like that, and I will still always be family with you. But I do think like Melissa said, it really fucking depends on what happened and like how this ended, and depending on how much like if they're around your age or older, or like how close you in age you are with your cousin, it can be kind of one of those things. Like I think of my nephew, and my nephew will have known, I'm not blood related to him, but like he will know me and Moss for the same amount of time. It will be of equal like level in your life. So depending on how long you've like known your cousin and you've also known her, I think you can take what he says of the story. And if I don't think it makes you a bad person if you're like, I want to hear what her like side of it is too. Cause like sometimes you can like hear what someone's saying and you're like, that doesn't, especially you know them well, it doesn't feel totally spot on. But this thing I would say what not to do is to make assumptions. So like assumptions about what someone's comfortable with, what someone's not comfortable with. Because some people get really offended if they feel like you're coddling them and like you're going out of your way to like, you know, they just want to be included of what your intentions are and what your plans are. And it's also okay if you end up taking the side of someone who you like actually don't really agree with like the things that they've done, but that they're the one who you feel the like closer to, or you feel the need to be in their life, even if they were the one who caused some harm. That also doesn't make you a bad person. I've had friendships like that where the person I remained closer with was the one who I was like, well, you fucked up.
Yeah.
You know? Anything else for this one?
No, I'm done.
Same.
Now we're going to take a break. We're back from our break.
And now it is time
to get into the rest of the calls.
Amazing. I knew that.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I'm a 29-year-old using she, her pronouns. I came out as queer a couple years ago and realized about a year ago that I have a handful of kinks I'd like to explore. Because of COVID, I haven't gotten to explore either my queerness or the kinks, but now I feel comfortable to do so. I live in a medium-sized city, and I was able to find a place that is specifically for queer people and the kink community. There's only one place like this in the city I live in. My concern is that while I live in a medium-sized city, I work for the second largest employer here, and I'm really worried I'm going to check this place out and see someone I know, or worse, am friends with. Specifically, my concern is that I want to attend the sex parties they have, but have zero desire to ever see anyone I have any connection with have sex. I'm not worried about people finding out I'm queer or kinky, but that I might see people fucking on a Thursday and then in a work meeting on Monday. Do you think I should go check it out anyways and see if someone there that I know, or just try to stay as far away from them as possible? I have no idea how many people are part of this community, so I don't know how hard it would be to do that. I want to mention that I am friends with a couple who are husband and wife. I am closer friends with the guy because we work together. And while I was checking on their cat for them while they were out of town, I went into their bedroom. The door was already open because I couldn't find their third cat, and I wanted to visually make sure they were all okay before I left. In their bedroom was a lot of sex toys, a sex swing, shibari rope, and other kink-type toys. I've never spoken to these friends about sex and have zero desire to do so. Seeing all their sex toys was initially what made me worried that I might check out this queer/kink place and see someone I know. I want to stress that I don't care at all if people want to be queer or kinky. I just don't want to see it if I know you. So do I try and go and just avoid people if I happen to know them? Am I being immature? Any advice would be much appreciated. Thank you. Bye.
I don't think you're being immature, and I think that your concerns are valid. Thing with the sex community, I'm not a part of it, but I know people that are part of it, and they all know each other. And we live in a big city, and everybody knows who's in it, and everybody talks about it.
Everybody talks.
And when somebody misbehaves, then they goes outside the community, and that's how we know.
That's how. Again, I wanted to also confirm with Melissa, I also am not a part of the community, and this last part that she said is why we know.
Because they misbehaved. But otherwise, it's very insular. The people that are vocal about it, they are vocal about it, but they don't tell on anyone else that's in it. They don't tell who's there. They just talk about their own experience going. So I will say you probably will see people you know, and there might be people that you don't realize that you know, and then you see them later and like, oh, that's where I know you from. And if you want to be part of the community, then I think that's just something you have to brace yourself for. Or you can be part of, I know sometimes they have like one-on-one sessions, and maybe like get into a one-on-one session where you're not with everyone else. And if you want to explore like the kink.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
Key side and see what you're into. Sometimes they have instructors that will do that and walk you through everything. And that way you can explore your kinky side, and it might be somebody that's of the same sex as you. And then that way you can explore your queer side as well. Otherwise, I would say because of how safety works, everybody will know who's there. But if you're concerned about like actually seeing someone in the act, maybe going on a day where people are wearing masks, eyes wide shut, like.
Yeah. Do you wear glasses? Take them off.
I think you kind of want to see things though.
No, but
when you're
walking through a
close.
common space, that's it. I'm saying when I don't want to see something, I don't want to see. If like the house is messy and I'm like, I don't have the capacity to deal with it right now, I'm gonna take my glasses off. When I'm getting down on the couch and I
don't know where that was going.
No, I'm not wearing first of all, as someone who wore glasses in high school and you like make out your glasses fog up, it is embarrassing. I'm taking up. No, Melissa, it's true. They literally fog up.
I know from personal experience. I'm just imagining you doing it and then how awkward you get.
Yeah, no, Melissa, story of my life. The good thing about me being awkward is I don't know any different. So like, it's hard for me to have a barometer to that. But so I want to circle back and like, I want to circle and underline a statement you said, because it's the first thing that I thought of this is you might not know these people now, you will know them eventually. Mm-hmm. So it is not a matter of like, I don't want to like add more worry to your plate, but like if you see a bunch of people, you're like, oh cool, it's no one I know is here. That's great. That is not, you're not in the clear, because you're going to eventually meet these people. Like there will just be a crossover there. And so I think like this is kind of one of those things that this is not a place that you can necessarily dip your toe into. Cause like this is where, so like I would say the version of dipping your toe into this to be like, do I like this? Like, is this like an event or a kind of like activity that I'm enjoying participating in, or that I feel like I have my footing in? To go to a different city and do it for the first time. Like, I just think that like dipping your toe in that sense might make you feel a little bit more comfortable, even just to kind of know the outline of how it goes, and to kind of just be like, okay, so this is when this, so like I can maybe anticipate, just to feel that there's a little bit, you have a little bit more confidence in that, because I don't know what these experiences would be like, but what if you see someone there that you know and they're like, oh, this is your first time here, you've never been here, like let me show you the ropes and all of that stuff there.
Literal ropes.
And you're like, I want to pretend I don't even see you here. Like, I do not want to see you fornicate. So I think also like maybe the idea of like seeing people that you like know hooking up is like really not your jam. But then you might go to another city and you don't see anyone you know, and you go, you know what? I actually don't think I would mind that much to like see people I know there. But I think like it's a lot harder to undo. You can't undo that. So I would get as much experience as you can without having to affect the personal aspect first.
Yeah. I think, doing the 101 will help.
Yeah.
So this would be a good topic, sex parties. We should have sexy what? I was trying to say Kelsey, Dara.
I'm sorry. She's going to love when it goes. I was trying to say your name, and it just came out as sexy.
We should have Kelsey Dara on because she posted, do you want to come to a sex party a couple weeks ago?
On her public Instagram? Mm-hmm. Fuck VidCon. Come to a sex party. I'll have a signing booth.
Yeah.
I have so much social anxiety that like I get nervous like going to weddings.
I could go. I think the first time I would just need to venture around. I want to just go and observe what's going on.
Yeah.
And then, if I'm comfortable, then maybe continue. But
no, I need to be a fly on a wall first. Like I cannot be perceived in a circumstance or a situation where like I've never been before.
But then people are like, she's somebody that likes to watch.
No, exactly. Yeah. And then it goes, but I don't want you to perceive me perceiving. Like it's just like
that means that it's just not for you.
No, it's just not for me. And that's fine. But like I think that the fact that this is enticing to you, I think that like I would be shocked if you go and you don't have a good time because like this is something that like it's not, I don't know, it's not cilantro where you go, I think I might like it. And then it goes, well, I tried it. And no, not so much. Like there's a lot of like stigma and shame when it comes to sex. And a lot of people like might be interested, like, but having an acknowledgement that this is something you would be interested in means that you know yourself and like your comfortability, and having these flags go up and go, but I'm not comfortable with this. That is, dip your toe in, wade before you get in there. Because the other part is like, I would hope, and if this is not a thing and people have sex parties and you have someone who you can like implement this to, I don't need credit. But I think there should be something along the lines of like when you go into an Uber and you go like, I would like a no talking ride. Like you should be able to.
I think they do.
Say like, I'm someone who like.
And I know that at some places they have like different rooms where what you're into is in that certain room.
Oh, okay. Because I think that the part I would feel most uncomfortable with is if I see someone I know and I want to pretend that I don't see them, but they like are like, oh my gosh, cool, we can bond and talk about this. That is, I'm more uncomfortable having a conversation with someone saying, I'm so sorry, I want to pretend that this, like, that's not, than actually watching them have sex. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's the interpersonal thing I would be so much more uncomfortable with. But if I could wear a badge that just said, you don't know me, I don't know you, and then people I know would be like, you don't know me, I don't know you. That would be great. I don't think the badges would work because they can have sharp edges, and like, what if you?
Anyway, next call.
I'm ready to party.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I love your podcast. I know a couple weeks ago there was one wherein a woman who identified as Indian called in, and she was married to a white man, and like friends were saying some racial things. And I just wanted to kind of talk about my personal experience with that as an Indian woman. And I actually ended up breaking up with my boyfriend because he was white and his family wanted him to be with a white girl. And a lot of the comments that his friends would say were pretty racist. And I feel like as an Indian girl who's grown up around mostly white people, like what Melissa was saying, it was really difficult to like navigate like what's racist and what's not. But I kind of just wanted some advice on like how to move forward after this breakup and to kind of gain my confidence back in understanding that like just because this white person had a racist family dynamic doesn't necessarily mean that like every man's going to be like that. And I'm having just a really tough time kind of coping and just building my confidence back in terms of like, hey, like just because this was the scenario and the situation doesn't mean that every person is going to be like that. And I kind of want your guys' advice on like how to move forward in the dating world, I guess. I mean, I'm nowhere near there yet. But how to move forward in the dating world with with knowing that people have these biases and like how to like kind of address them and talk about them with potential next partners. And if anyone has any suggestions or advice on that, that'd be really wonderful. Because this one's kind of really hit me hardcore when it's like I thought that like, you know, I think it was like obviously it was a deal breaker for me, but it was just really difficult to kind of navigate. Like, I don't know. It's just really broken my confidence for moving forward when it's like, how do you know that the next person, if they have these biases or these racist ideologies, like how do we navigate that, you know? And like, how do you talk to someone about it in your dating situation? So thanks so much. Bye.
First of all, I'm so sorry because that's like, I don't have personal experience with that, and I won't, but the feeling of like when someone dates you, there's a lot of things that you assume coming along with that, and then having it feel like a level of deception, you know, that's like just very personally and extremely fucked up from someone who you thought you could count on.
Unfortunately, as a woman of color, if you're dating outside of your ethnicity, this is going to be the norm for anyone that you're going to date. You're going to have to, if they're close to their family, you need to, like, your ex was close to their family, so their parents' input on their dating life was important to them. So this is something that I think, like, after a couple dates, you just got to get out of the way. Like, have you dated someone outside of your ethnicity before?
Mm-hmm.
If so, how did that go? What do your parents think about that? Blah, blah. And you also have to make sure you're not skirting on like get out territory too, where they're too obsessed with it and too into it. And it's like, why are you being so weird? Because that's when it turns into a fetish, where it's like, oh, we want our grandchildren to be brown or whatever and have their hair look a certain way. And blah. It's weird.
Yeah.
So they're just questions that you have to ask, and you have to be upfront with about it, and you don't want to do it when you've caught too many feelings. You just got to ask it right away.
And I also, as a white person, it is not,
Merry Christmas, everybody. My name is Eric Peterson. I'm here with my good buddy,
Danny Jordan.
And we are the hosts of Christmas Countdown Show.
We're so thrilled to be bringing the merriment to you all this holiday season. On Christmas Countdown, we love to count down our top 10 favorite things related to the holiday season. That could be food, movies, music, everything that we all love about this massively merry good time. So wherever you get your podcasts, make sure you click that subscribe button. Eric, are you ready?
I am ready, and we hope that you are too. Merry Christmas, everybody. Let's go.
Would never feel offended if someone like straight up asked me like, are the people in your life racist? Like,
and if they're offended, then you already know that's not the person for you.
Yeah, like there are people not in my family, but like more wider things that like I had a group thing. I would be like, they're not coming because that's not no. Like that's just like a hard pass no. But that's not someone who I'm close to, someone I care, like any of that sort of a thing. But it is a very non-offensive question to ask.
And if people are offended, then they're the problem.
Yeah, because to me, it's not even just like, if you are offended by that question, it's not just that you have racists in your life, it's that you're protecting them. And like,
and that makes you racist.
Yeah. And so I obviously can't tell you like what like comfortability level that you have, but nobody should make you uncomfortable with however you're comfortable in gaining this information. Like it's just, it's a fact. It is or it is not. Like there's not a lot of there's no nuance when it comes to it. Like either you're racist or you're not. And if someone wants to like split hairs on it, then that's a level of like willful ignorance that is not safe, or an environment that like I wouldn't trust your judgment on friends. Then I wouldn't trust your judgment on anything if you're gonna like skirt around an issue of like, well, it's like, it's this. But yeah.
Also pay attention to the type of people that they hang out with too, and see, do they have like a diverse group of friends as well? Because that can That can be a tell early on. One time I was dating this guy and he was talking about his dad was coming into town. His dad is always on dating apps and dating younger women. Disgusting. And I was like, oh God, I hope I don't, like, I was making a joke. I don't see him on the dating app. And then the guy was like, well, he doesn't date Black women. And I was like, automatic no, right there.
Got it. Great. Thank you for that. Explicit.
Yep.
I would also say kind of just like the same way when it comes to like friends and like people, like I even say this with like public figures, like who they're following on Instagram.
Yeah.
And a big kicker, I think, is what musical artists they're following who have maybe become popular because they're controversial. Like, and what is that kind of.
But even with that, like if I saw somebody that, for example, was following a lot of like Black people that were musical artists, sometimes that ventures into like fetish.
I should be specific. If someone follows Morgan Wallen, like to me, if you're a recent Morgan Wallen follower, that tells me everything. Like it's just, that's what that is. But yeah, I also think like specifically if you're dating straight men, what the breakdown of who they follow is, and specifically like if they follow OnlyFans sex workers or like Instagram girls or whatever, that's a good indicator as well, because that's specifically like, are you fetishizing a specific type of person? Are they catering to a specific type of person? And I would do it early on,
because you don't want to like fall for them and then they disappoint you later. It's easier to be disappointed up front when you don't really have anything in the game.
Yeah, because that it can then fall into like, oh, this is just like I'm completely turned off by you. I'm not disappointed by you. If you're comfortable, I don't even think that's a weird first date question to ask at all. Especially like if you're specifically as a white person, if you're dating white guys, like they can't act like feigned shocked by that question.
Yeah. For me, the first date is like figuring out if I even like that person to begin with. And then the second date, it's like, okay,
let's get down to
let's get
down to business. Yeah, she said that she grew up in a predominantly white area. I would like reach out to like a community of like fostering friends in your area, whether it's like online or in person, to be able to like have conversations like this with people who can relate. Because I think it's great to have people who you can talk to, who can like offer like empathy and an ear, but it's important, especially if that hasn't been your experience, to feel like seen and represented in your friend group. That's like very isolating.
It is. I say that from personal experience.
Yeah. So, and I'm sure there's lots, especially social media, like that's a way to find a lot of people. And that's also a great time after a breakup to like make new friends. Yeah.
And also ask, is this weird? If you're not sure.
Yeah. It's like a good barometer check. And I also would keep an eye out for any of like your white friends who might feel uncomfortable by you asking these guys these questions too. But, you know, if you're not ready to unpack that with friends at the time, that's also very valid.
Yeah. There's a reason why I don't talk to most of the people I went to high school with. There's only a very few.
I like all of your friends that I've met. Anyone that you've decided to like no longer be friends with, I go, they probably sucked, because your record is 100% right now. Like, I like everybody.
Thanks.
You've got a good picker.
Can't say this.
The fact that I didn't even know what I walked into.
I couldn't even get it out.
Melissa, I need you to watch that back in the video. I like fully looked into the camera like, oh my God, you're right. You're right.
Oh, okay. Where were we? We've reached the end of the show.
Wow, what a fun ride.
Yeah, it was.
We had our ups, we had our downs, we had our loop-de-loops.
We got off at sometimes.
Okay, well, that was it. We hope you all enjoyed. If you did, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts for this podcast. You can also head on to Spotify and leave a review for the specific episode if you would like Melissa said at the beginning of the episode. You can check out our Patreon. We do live streams there twice a month, and you can also see the video versions of the podcast. And it's also a good place to engage if you have like ideas of things you should do. You can also hit us up on Instagram, the DMs, and follow our socials. I'm going to get better at posting. Well, Melissa knows my game plan. My game plan is I have beta blockers now. I'm going to get AC. And then when the Adderall shortage is done and I get like the regular Adderall again.
Good shit again.
Then I think I will have a fighting chance of my brain working to the small fraction it used to work before. Because like right now it's dusty. It's gusty and dusty. There's tumbleweeds. And I'm like riding in them like, wee, like little gerblings. Have you ever done one of those?
No, I've always wanted to.
Me too.
They seem dirty though, because you can't really clean inside of them.
I never thought about that. We need to buy our own.
Or like just like have the clean stuff and run through it, but then we got to hop out so the fumes don't get us.
No, you would. I think we would pass out immediately.
Yeah.
No, we'd have to get like a scuba mask. So we're getting the fresh air from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a mission.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Don't Blame Me is a production by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production sound and editing by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Giacomo Picasso and Ryan Hunter.
Welcome to the small town of Chinook, where faith runs deep and secrets run deeper. In this new thriller, religion and crime collide when a gruesome murder rocks the isolated Montana community. Everyone is quick to point their fingers at a drug-addicted teenager, but local deputy Ruth Vogel isn't convinced. She suspects connections to a powerful religious group. Enter federal agent V.B. Lauro, who has been investigating a local church for possible criminal activity. The pair form an unlikely partnership to catch the killer, unearthing secrets that leave Ruth torn between her duty to the law, her religious convictions, and her very own family. But something more sinister than murder is afoot, and someone is watching Ruth. Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, are you ready for some real talk and some fantastic laughs? Join me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, for Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong?
We're serving up 4 hilarious shows every week designed to entertain and engage and, possibly enrage you.
And Don't Blame Me, we dive deep into listeners' questions, offering advice that's funny, relatable, and real.
Whether you're dealing with relationship drama or you just need a friend's perspective, we've got you.
Then switch gears with But Am I Wrong, which is for listeners who didn't take our advice and want to know if they are the villains in the situation.
Plus, we share our hot takes on current events and present situations that we might even be wrong in our lives. Spoiler alert, we are actually quite literally never wrong.
But wait, there's more. Check out See You Next Tuesday, where we reveal the juicy results from our listener polls from But Am I Wrong?
And don't miss Fisting Friday, where we catch up, chat about pop culture, TV, and movies. It's the perfect way to kick off your weekend.
So if you're looking for a podcast that feels like a chat with your besties, listen to Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.